Hi there, Ryzen is back again, and today we have an unusual video. We'll be talking about my recent PC build for farming purposes. On your screen right now you can see my other farming PC, which was originally built for something different, but today handles two same panels simultaneously perfectly. You can see I have two remote desktops here that farm cases independently. The most important thing to understand is that my current farm has already paid for itself and is generating profit, which means I am free to experiment. I can either buy more primes or purchase more armory passes. In other words, the budget I'm risking at the moment is minimal, so I decided to scale up and test one PC build I've been thinking about for a while. The reason I keep on buying new computers is because a computer is an asset. It's not like a prime that can get banned at any moment, causing you to lose 100% of its value. A PC or its parts can always be sold, and it comes cheaper if you build it using used components, also negotiating the prices with sellers. So if we buy brand new parts, we immediately lose around 30% of its value. That's just how the market works everywhere, including, for example, cars. Let's take a look at the components of this PC that farms two panels. We've got an Intel i7 2.9 Hz 48GB of RAM. You can see full Red C drive here. That's a 120GB SSD, only Windows. Some system files are installed here, plus an old, absolutely ancient 200GB HDD, and this one carries our Counter-Strike. In the new build, we will have a single SSD, no HDD this time, and that SSD will be for 500GB. I'll explain later why such a large capacity you could take to 50 and it would be enough, but there is a reason for why I get 500. Now let's look at the performance graphs. This part is very interesting. Here we can see the CPU, what's happening right now, active farming. We can see the CPU is loaded around 60 to 70% on average. RAM is basically flat at 37GB, so we still have 11GB capacity left. However, most likely for 3 panels we'll still have to go for 64GB. Now the GPU, we have a GTX 1050 with 2GB VRAM, bought literally for pennies, and as you can see it's loaded at 80%. So when you're buying a GPU for farming, understand that the main load goes to the CPU, not the GPU. You can get literally the weakest GPU that exists today and it will work. It doesn't overheat, 80% load, everything's fine. Now let's go to the CPU comparison website. We'll see that the Ryzen 7 5700G that I'm buying for this build is about 50% more efficient. However, if you look at specs individually, they're both pretty much the same. 8 cores, 16 threads, the base frequency differs, but the maximum boost clock is actually high on the Intel. So overall, the specs are almost identical. Nothing surprising except that the Ryzen 7 has integrated graphic. Alright, so let's move to our next part, which will be buying, assembling, and then launching the new PC. The best site for selling your skins is Oven Market. And now you will get paid more than promised if the price goes up during the 7-day trade lock. And don't worry, if the price drops, you'll get paid the amount that was fixed on the selling day. Oven Market is a reliable and simple service for selling your skins. You log in, enter your trade link, select the items you want to sell, and your preferred payout method. I always choose side balance for extra juice, then set the trade and wait for funds to arrive. When selling CS skins, it'll take 8 days. With Dota and Rust items, that works without delays. On Oven Market, you can also buy skins for a very good price. For example, this StatTrak Vaporwave M4 in field tested quality on Oven Market is $128, while on Steam Community Market it starts with $157. That's a good opportunity, and while using the best site for selling your skins, don't forget to use the code RANCHER for some extra profit. Enjoy! So let's go through parts. First, we have a Zalman i3 tower, 3 fans in the front, 1 in the back. Cost me around $34. The motherboard P450 that cost me around $82. The key factor for me was 4 RAM slots. And speaking of RAM, for this one I have Kingston Fury 2 of 16GB, 3200 Hz that cost me $68. Together, the 4 slots I need for when I eventually start running 3 panels at the same time, that I'll probably need to buy either 2 of 8 or 2 of 16GB more RAM. But for now, since I'm starting with 2 panels only, 32GB should be enough. We have our CPU Ryzen that I've talked about before, $115, and now the SSD for 500GB. I couldn't find a used one, nothing reasonable in my city on the second-hand market, and I didn't want to spend too much time waiting, so I decided to go for a brand new one. This will be the only brand new part in the whole build, and it was $40. Our power unit, Be Quiet for 500 watt, cost me $34, and a special guest Next of this build that I ordered earlier is an HDMI monitor emulator that supports up to 4K resolution. It saves peak time when building and using the PC because we don't need a monitor at all. That costs me around $3. Small tool, but huge difference. I also always keep some extra screws around. You can buy those for literally nothing. It's always useful to mount the motherboard. And thermal paste. Couldn't find my main one, so I'll use this small pack for now. During the next maintenance I will apply a better paste, but I'm sure this one will be just good enough. So here are all the components. Now let's assemble it. So the build ended before it even started. Turns out that the motherboard, which I actually bought at night in the dark, was missing the mounting brackets for the cooler, and honestly, even in the daylight I might have not checked it. These things are tiny. I have one from AM3 socket, but they didn't fit, literally off by half a centimeter. I first blamed the cooler and thought it should have come with the brackets, so I bought a new cooler for mostly just to get the mounting frame quickly. And guess what? The new one didn't include the brackets either, so those probably come with the motherboard, which basically makes more sense as I'm now thinking about this. But later today or tomorrow the brackets will arrive. I'll show it to you later when it arrives. Meanwhile, wasting no time, I decided to take the whole thing apart and clean the fans, because there's dust absolutely everywhere. We'll be using this high-tech device to clean it now. Good thing I opened it because it was insanely dusty inside. It's not like the old towers that I have. The front panel pop off super easily because it has these snap clips, no screws. Absolutely love it. And the power supply is also getting cleaned. It even still has a warranty sticker that prevents opening it. Visually it looks okay from the outside, but I'm sure the other side is full of dust and I cannot be stopped at this point. And honestly, it just feels good knowing the build is clean inside out. So we're gonna fix that now. And here it is. The missing brackets finally arrived. Now I'll install it and continue assembling the PC. So as you can see, the PC is assembled. Honestly, it went together super easily, and I also realized something. Since there is no GPU here, technically I could fit another motherboard inside and build 2 in 1 tower. That's an interesting discovery, but good to know for the future, because I might try it. Right, let's launch the machine. What do we have? The system power is on, but the fans don't spin. No fans here. We should be getting some display output. Let's see. Oh, I was just about to start recording, complain that it didn't boot, but looks like it's all fine now. Yeah, we have it. The display says select the device, so I'm going for my pen drive and we'll install the Windows. Alright, look at this, everything spins, works just fine, Windows is installed, super clean. Now I will optimize it, remove all the unnecessary stuff, install Steam and the software. As for the tower, everything looks great, all fans spinning, everything running smoothly. Why didn't those spin before? I simply forgot to connect this pin. That happens, always double check stuff like this. And now here we have it. It's almost midnight and I'm happy to report remote access is configured, the PC is running, everything works. And what does it mean? That it's the most sacred moment. We shut up, sit down, disconnect all the wires, just the power and Ethernet, no keyboard, no mouse, and most importantly, no monitor at all. We plug in our HDMI dummy and enjoy remote control. This one tiny gadget saves a ton of hassle, money and space. So my friends, here they are, 2 PCs in front of you, time to compare. Left one looks more presentable, right one doesn't, but who cares, aesthetics don't farm cases. It's been over a week since I built the Ryzen 7 system, and let's talk about performance and behavior. First thing, it was absolutely stable during farming 2 panels, no crashes, no issues. Let's open Task Manager and check the graphs. And to be clear, they are configured the same way, running the same workload, no different in settings whatsoever. Here we have 2 farms running at the same time, both are currently in-game. As you can see, same here, both are in-game as well. The only difference is the map, which I only noticed right now by the way. I hope this won't affect the results too much. Actually it might, but we'll move on with our comparison for now. So as for RAM, no issues at all, it's loaded equally on both systems, but when it comes to the GPU, the integrated graphics in the Ryzen 7 clearly performs worse. If we compare it to a dedicated separate GPU, the difference is huge, even though that one is much weaker and older, yet it still sits at around 80% load and only 55 degrees Celsius. So yes, the GPU is being used quite heavily in terms of load percentage, but temperature wise, it's completely fine. Meanwhile, the integrated graphics stays at 100% usage all the time. Temperature is under control. I was worried about overheating, but it stays at around 61-62 degrees Celsius the entire time and never went higher, so stable performance under continuous heavy load, which is good. However, it's clear that I won't be able to run 3 panels simultaneously on this build. On my previous PC, though, I can say that it's worth trying. I'm actually sure it's worth trying to add another 16GB of RAM so we can have 64 in total and attempt to run 3 panels. And if something becomes our bottleneck, it's unlikely to be CPU or RAM. The only possible limitation would be the GPU, but that's easy. We can simply swap them, move this one to another PC and put something a little bit better in here. So these are the result, guys, and here is something interesting. The Intel i7 currently costs the same on the used market as what I paid for the Ryzen CPU. Yes, I did have to spend extra for a dedicated GPU here, while with Intel I didn't, so at the same price point Ryzen technically ends up being cheaper. But if we manage to run 3 panels on the Intel i7 system, then the build becomes more efficient and cost effective. That's the conclusion. Alright friends, let's wrap up the Ryzen 7 build. As you saw in the video, the total cost was $365. I also included an extra $21 here for travel expenses because I had to collect some of the parts myself going to different cities. As we saw, the system couldn't handle 3 panels, 2 panels was the maximum and the CPU was already 100% load. That's why I don't even see the point of trying to push it to 3 panels. That means we could have gone with the Ryzen 5 5600G instead and saved around $34, and in my country you can actually buy a bundle of CPU plus a motherboard for $150 on the used market, and I'm sure that if you're bargain a little you can easily get it for around $130. I also rushed with an SSD here, so I bought the brand new, and buying a used one would also save around $10, so we can safely subtract $45 from the total, meaning this build for 2 panels could only cost us around $320, and if you really try hard, maybe even $300. But if we're talking about a PC for 3 panels, I already have an i7 build that isn't hitting 100% load, and honestly I am curious to upgrade it myself and test 3 panels on it. And if you guys hit the comments and likes, we'll definitely do it. And let's break down the cost for the Intel build. It's also a Zalman i3 case, that's $33. The motherboard is LGA 1200 and this is much easier and cheaper to find, it's only about $67. The CPU here is for around $114. RAM, here we have 64GB instead of 32, so the price doubles accordingly to around $134. The cooler, $7, same as in the Ryzen build. SSD, we're not rushing this time, so we can count as $33 instead of $40. And don't forget the GPU, we will need one for this build. I'm thinking of GTX 1060 3GB as a reference here, it will be around $75. Plus travel and delivery costs also around $17. So in total, this PC comes out around $450, which is $130 more, and that is less than 50% price increase. But compared to the Ryzen build, we will get a 50% performance jump, going from 2 panels to 3 panels. So the PC will still run 24/7, but will do significantly more work. Now about the SSD. At the very beginning I have mentioned that I will explain why I need 500GB. So since we use multiple desktops here with separate Steam clients and separate Counter-Strike instances, each desktop must be able to update CS independently on Wednesday morning. So if we only had 120GB SSD, we would have a single CS installed, meaning we'd have to update it manually first and then again manually launch each remote desktop to restart farming. But with the proper SSD for 500GB, it all happens automatically, which saves the whole process. And with that being said, that's gonna be it for the video. Thank you for watching, give it a like if you enjoyed, subscribe to see more, let me know in the comments if you want to see a 3-panel build, and as always, good luck, have fun, and see you soon.